Okay, I got a challenge here. A friend of mine sent me some challenge rock. I believe it was Frank. Frank sent me this. Let me just check. Yeah, I just had to make sure. Okay, so this, I'm not too familiar with this kind of material, but I was told it was opalized or common opal. Looks like petrified wood, right? But some of it has been opalized. But you guys will correct me if I'm wrong, or if we are wrong. But yeah, that looks like wood opal, as they call it. I looked it up just before I made the video to try to see exactly what this is, and I think that's what it is. Alright, so the challenge is to knap something out of this stuff, and Frank took off some spalls. You got one from right there. Let's see. Took off a piece from right here somewhere. Yeah. And other places on here. So we got a bunch of little chunks. I took off that chunk today. Nice and shiny. Very interesting. Alright, so we'll try this piece, because it looks like it's pretty much intact with no major cracks. Now a lot of this stuff, it's easy to flake, but it's hard to keep in one piece. So I think that's what the challenge is. How do you keep it all in one piece? Well, the easiest way is to keep it thick. That's the easiest way, but I'll try to thin it down as much as I can. This is aluminum rod, indirect percussion stick. I already tapped on this a little bit, just out of curiosity before the video, but not too much. Yeah, it flakes really well. It's similar, or I think it's similar to Rainy Buttes, which is a petrified mud, I think. Anyway, the knappability is pretty good. This is even called potch, which I think is what they call it in Scotland. They've got potch up in Scotland. It looks like obsidian, or they just use the terms interchangeably in Scotland. And the way this forms is a silica-rich ash from a volcano settles on top of a bunch of wood or whatever on a forest and keeps it compressed or whatever. But over time, the silica from the ash seeps down into the earth and eventually impregnates the wood with silica. I think that's how it works. Yeah. And which reminds me about the Manning fused glass. I think that's what it's called. Manning fused glass. This is a different topic, but it reminds me of that. I mentioned in another video recently that the Manning fused glass is formed underground when coal heats up the surrounding rock. What actually happens is the coal is lignite. It's what they call brown coal, lignite coal, right? Doesn't contain as much carbon as regular coal. It's compressed peat moss. All right. So what happens is with a volcano, the ash again we're talking about ash from a volcano, is partially melted ash rich with silica, comes in contact with lignite near the surface. And the contact between the two obviously causes the lignite to burn. It causes even more heat. And that's when the Manning fused glass forms. It forms from the silica in the ash and combined with the heat from the combusting lignite, I guess. And it forms Manning fused glass. It's another volcanic thing. Not the same process as this stuff, but it reminded me of that. I just wanted to clear that up, just to let you guys know I did a little bit of reading. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that keeps me awake. If I mention something that's not right, I'm going, is that right? I don't know. I gotta look it up. And then, you know, you guys are probably thinking, you should have looked it up before the video. Preparation. Yeah. Preparation is the key to success. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. Yeah, we learned that in the military. Why don't I put it into practice? I don't know. ADHD. Yeah. I know what I'm supposed to do. I just don't do it. That's what I'm going to blame it on. I know what I'm supposed to do, but I don't do it. Why? Because my brain shuts me down and I say, I'm just going to do it expediently. And then my brain gets happy again. I don't know why. If I expedite the process, I don't get all mopey. I don't mope around and don't want to do it that way. It interferes a lot. It comes in conflict with handicrafts because, you know, you need to get in the zone and get all focused. You can't do it expediently all the time. You got to get into focus. Yeah. Well, as long as I like doing it, I can focus really easily. That's the thing about ADHD. As long as you like it, you don't get the brain blockers going. They don't block you. You can focus. Yeah. You take caffeine or a stimulant, and it also gets rid of the brain blockers. Supposedly. Sometimes it takes a lot of caffeine, and even then it doesn't work. Yeah. Sometimes even the stimulants, they go, your brain goes, ha. You tried, but not this time, buddy. Anyway, it has nothing to do with knapping this stuff. This stuff is just kind of crumbly, easy to flake, just almost as easy to flake as Obsidian. It's got imperfections in it, but the ease of flaking makes up for it somewhat. It does grind down like rainy buttes. You can make a pigment out of it, it seems. And as I was handling that, I got yellow ochre on me. So it's got a lot of pigmentation potential, as a side note. Yeah, I can probably grind this down and make a brown pigment. Not that it would be something I would normally do, because there's plenty of opportunities for brown pigment. Plenty of other ways to get it. Don't have to grind down opalized petrified wood. Nope. Should I be grinding this a lot more? Maybe. Look at the crystals in there. Very nice. I'm not going to keep them in there though, so that nice is going to go away. So sorry, Charlie. Yeah. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it wants to stay. Look at that. It should have gone, right? But those crystals want to stay in there. Oh boy. It's almost like it's a challenge. Almost. I wonder what happened if I just give up. Yeah, it's a challenge, but I'm not gonna do it. I think I've done that before. So I think I have just say, okay, that's enough of the challenge. I'm gonna move on. I may have done it before. Should I leave the lump of crystals in there? No, because it would interfere with the hafting. I always have to have the haftability. Yeah, see, it's too lumpy. It doesn't fit in the big haft. That's my big haft. I have a smaller one and I can never find it. And I got like 3 sticks lined up to make other size hafts. Yeah, I just never do it. I know what to do, I just don't do it. Yeah, time is a factor as well. Oh, yes. Alright, so I'm going to switch over to no gloves. There's really not much danger of these shards getting everywhere and doing damage. These do get everywhere, but they don't do damage. It's not like obsidian shards. Those little flakes down there, pretty freaking harmless. Yep, harmless. I can walk barefoot on those, no problem. I don't recommend it, boys and girls, but you know, just saying. No barefoot nappers in this neck of the woods, neck of the desert. Yeah, I don't allow nobody barefoot around here when I'm napping. Not here. I will observe during nap-ins. I won't say anything. It doesn't really bug me. I just don't recommend it. It bugs me when I do it. If I don't have adequate protection on my feet, it bugs me. Not only does it bug me in principle, but it bugs me after a few minutes because I'm unlucky. I always get something in my foot. Did it do it? No, I tried to sneak up on it, but it stopped. Yeah. I gotta sneak up on that somehow. But I don't want to lose too much width. I gotta be sneaky without losing width. Alright. Did it do it? It felt okay. Oh, yes. Almost did it. It went where it's supposed to go, but that lump is still there. It wants to stay. Let's see. If it fits in the haft, I'll let it stay. You know what? That fits. Yeah. I might let it stay. Look at that. It fits. Okay. Okay, you can stay. As long as I figure out how to haft it. You know, where am I going to put the notches? Because that's right where I should put a notch. What's wrong with that? I'm trying to get the focus to do its thing, but somehow it's not doing its thing. It goes in and out of blurry. I don't know. Oh, yeah, and I forgot to mention, I just noticed that one of the lenses on the front of my phone is cracked. One of the lenses. It doesn't really interfere with the video, but if I take a photograph nowadays, there's a little bit of glare. There's a little bit of glare creeps in, and that's because there's a glare reflecting off the crack on the lens. It's driving me nuts. Well, there it is. There's the crystal pocket. So much for that. And I got it from a frontal attack. I took it off with a method I would least expect would work. But you know what? I do it anyway. I do these attacks anyway, even though I don't expect the good result. But you know what? Sometimes it just does it. Yeah. You never know. A lot of times I'll take a flake just to see, just in case, just to see, you know. It normally is not that good of a strategy because you'd end up losing width or length or whatever. Because it's dicey, and when you play the game of dice, you gotta be prepared to lose. So I'm usually prepared to lose some length or width when I just test things out. So I was prepared to lose some width or whatever there. It worked out. Now we're starting to get to the stage where this is now the preform. I got to thin it. Now what point am I going to make from it? I forget where this is from. I don't want to get up and look. I don't want to, but I should. Let's see. Where's this from? Okay, sorry about the interruption. I kicked the phone by accident, and then I touched it and pushed the wrong button, trying to get it realigned, and then had to restart. Anyway, it's from Washington. Stuff's from Washington State. I should have figured it. I should have known. Should have kept track of that. I got so many addresses in my head I can't keep track. That's my excuse. Always have an excuse. Yeah. Okay, so how is this flaking? It's flaking all right. All right, it is flaking okay. It's just that right now I think I'm using a tip that's a little bit too fat on this particular flaker. I'm going to switch over. I am going to switch to steel. Now, it may not work very well because it might smash the edge all up, but we'll see. You never know. Rolling the dice. Not much edge preparation. I saw a spark on that one. I must have hit another crystal pocket. Little bitty one. This grinds down really easy like Rainy Buttes. Rainy Buttes is not in Washington, is it? Washington State? I don't even know. I know these things and then I forget these things. Is it crushing the edge? It's doing alright. It's just the flakes are not long. Come on. I'm getting little bitty flakes and I'm getting some weird stuff. Switch to pressure, you might say. Yeah. I know what you guys are up to. You guys can, some of you guys can pressure this to tater chip thinness just with pressure. I don't like doing it that way. Ouch. That one bit a chunk out of the steel. So yes, a soft petrified wood can take a bite out of the steel. That's amazing how it does that. See, there is a little deposit of steel right there. See that? That's not a crystal pocket. See, that was steel. This soft, relatively soft material can be deceiving. Yeah, you wouldn't think that it would resist the steel or, you know, the percussion flaker, but it does. So far the steel is working pretty good. I'm able to get into the smaller areas. That's okay. I expect those to happen. Those ring cracks. I expect that every once in a while. I gotta stop messing with the tip with percussion. I'll finish the tip with pressure, I think. Yeah, the secret to this, since it's starting to get a little thin, is to not get it too much thinner than this, so that if there is any imperfections, they won't cause the whole thing to snap. Yeah, you can't ignore the fact that there's imperfections in here and just go, oh, I can thin that. It's not bad. Yeah. No. Sometimes you have to back off. Take it easy. Yeah. There's some places I can flake through it, and some places I cannot. Like I can take a chance in flaking in a consistent area. Some areas are not that consistent. So take a smaller flake. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's the tip here in this area, this is cruddy. That might not work out so well as the base. It might not. Now, from Washington, there's a lot of points there. Washington State. What can I make from the local area? I know, I'll just make a corner notch point. Yeah, hardly ever do those. Haha. You wish. You wish I hardly ever do those. Corner notch points are just so common that it's just a no-brainer. That's what you always do. That's what people are supposed to always do. Yeah. Okay, get into the pressure flaking zone. It's the most interesting part of the whole process. See me pick at it. I'm just going to pick at it. And keep picking and picking. And see how nasty it can get. It's going to get pretty nasty. I can already tell. It doesn't like to be picked at. Especially in these crunchy areas. Oh no, it does not like it. Yeah, okay. I need to abrade before every pass. I know. Alright. Get some leverage, make sure that I'm not going to get out of frame here. That didn't work. Let's see. Let's get a little more daring. No, it just crunches it. Let's see. Try a little more gentle. Yeah, it crunches it a lot. That's just a nasty area. I might be able to thin it down from the other side and, you know, take a little overshot risk. Yeah, it pressure flakes fine in a smooth area. It's not all crunchy. Yeah. But in the crunchy areas, it doesn't like it. Surprise, surprise. It doesn't like to be flaked in the crunchy areas. Who could have known? Sarcasm, by the way. Another little crystal pocket is rearing its ugly head. So yeah, if you're lucky enough not to have any of those crystal pockets, everything should work out good. Should be good. Yeah, just be done with the blade and notch it, dude. Yeah. I know, I'll notch it here in a minute. You know, leave the crunchy area in there and just not make some notches. I don't know. I could try to shorten it up a little bit and then attack that crunchy area just a little more delicately. See, if I shorten it, I can move the tip that way, and that way I can try another pass through there. But it's still dicey because there's I'll just be napping again into the crunchy area. Look at that pigment. It is a lot like Rainy Buttes. Except the Rainy Buttes doesn't have this much crunchiness in it, I don't think. Oh, come on. Is it focusing? For some reason, the focus is not working right. Yeah. I don't know what's up with it. Alright. Okay, come on. It's just crunching. I just need to get a couple flakes through there so I can sharpen it up. If it can't be sharpened, it needs to go in the discard pile. Yep. That's what they used to do. I think. It's got to be able to be sharpened. All right. What is going on? It's focusing on everything except the point. As usual. There it goes. Solved that problem. There's a weak spot in there. All right. There, and I can finally take a big old flake off of that. Let's see. It wasn't sharp anyway, so no big loss. See if we can sharpen it this time. This time I'm going to use the percussion because the pressure didn't seem to do anything to it. There. I mean, it didn't seem to do anything better. The pressure didn't seem to do anything better than the percussion. Not much anyway. It was able to get in there and do a little more precise flaking, but I just kind of crunched it anyway, so at least I can do it in a simpler manner with the percussion. This is simple. I don't have to worry too much about abrading beforehand and getting all worried about, is it going to crunch it? I just smashed through the obstacles with the percussion. Yeah. Another thing with inconsistent materials, if you kind of blunt the tip like this, there's less breakage when you shoot it at something. Now, I haven't discussed much about blunts or points that look like they were intentionally rounded and dulled. Not dulled, but made non-pointy. Intentionally made without a point. Well, if the point keeps snapping off, then you make it without a point. You round it off. So this one snapped off, so what should I do? Well, if I can't get it sharp, I'm hitting the wood on the side. Hold on. I'm hitting my wooden shelf on the right with the indirect percussion flaker, the other end of it right there. All right. That's how cramped it is in here. Yep. I'm always working in a cramped space, but I like it because I eventually got to nap in my van, especially in winter. If I go up north for the winter, like I might do, I might stay up there for part of the winter. I have to nap inside the van where it's nice and cramped. Beautifully cramped. While the snow is falling and the wind is blowing, safe and snug as a bug in my van. Safe and snug as a bug in a rug. But it's not a rug, it's a van. Yeah. Smells like a rug. Yeah, because there's like 10 years of kiddos dirtying up my van. I've detailed it a couple times, but you can still see where somebody dropped something that I didn't know what they dropped, like paint or something. Some of my kids are artistes. You don't even know what they're doing back there. They got their Sharpies out and they're coloring something with the Sharpie. None of you know, when we're on the road and we get there and yay, they drop the Sharpie without the cover on it, and the tip is touching the carpeting, and there it goes. It just spreads out. There's a couple of those in there. I think that's what that is. Who knows? Ink stains from whatever. I'm just thinking maybe it's a Sharpie. But you never know. Oh, that was good. Yeah, where it's consistent, this stuff will flake nicely. Where it's consistent. Yeah. Is this a challenge? Is this much of a challenge? Well, I've had worse. This is a challenge, but I've had much worse. That's actually sharp. Yeah. So, it's not that much of a challenge. But, yeah, it is a little bit challenging. Mainly because I don't know what's going to happen next. What's going to happen? I don't know. Sometimes it flakes with nothing. Sometimes it'll take a bite out of the steel. You just never know. This is my default shape, teardrop shape. Let's sharpen the tip by removing little bitty percussion flakes. Just little bitty. See? I can thin it down and sharpen it with just percussion. It works well. If I do say so myself. One more pass through that area. It doesn't go all the way through, which is a good sign. I might be able to skin it off. Maybe. But you never know until you try. I still got some meat on it, so I might be able to skin off the nasty area. You never know until you try. Oh, not like that. I've gotta be careful. It's making me hit it really hard. Yeah. It's not cooperative. I gotta play it safe here. I'm gonna turn the edge just a little bit more toward that side to give myself a little bit more of an advantage. You lose width every time you readjust, but I gotta do it. Yeah, still not right. I gotta pick that edge to move it more that way. Okay. Oh, luckily it picks well in that direction. It picks a little bit too well, so I got to be careful not to do too much. All right. This grinds down so easily. Alright, it's time for a tip check. Make sure there's no embedded stone. We're going to do some critical hits. We don't want any embedded stone to mess up our critical hit. Alright, embedded stone in the steel. Yeah, that happens. You want the tip to be non-embedded. That way it can grab on. There it goes. Some of the mess has been cleared. Another strike. Has more of the mess been cleared? More of the mess has been cleared. Let's move down a little bit. Has the mess been cleared? A little bit more. You want me to shut up and not do the play-by-play? Okay. Nice. And for those of you listening, just listening, you don't know what that means. What was nice? What did I miss? What did I miss? Didn't miss anything. It's only nice to me since I like this material. It's got a little bit of a weirdness in there, but I like it. Now it's just a matter of tiptoeing through the tulips, make sure I don't mess it up. I gotta thin it down just a little bit more, but I gotta tiptoe it. I don't see any imperfections, but you never know. I just took off a big flake. Is that tiptoeing? Well, it is, because I did it very carefully. You can do big flakes really carefully. I made sure that it looked like a spot that would be able to handle that big strike. Nice and clear. I'm going to try to power off that crystal pocket next. Just frontal attack. Voila. See, there's another one. You got a little pal. You got a little friend. See? Big crystal pocket, little crystal pocket. You got a friend. Hello. I'm going to keep you over there together. I bet you don't see anyone else making their flakes talk to each other. Nope. Some of you might say, what? What flakes are talking to each other? Are the neighbors at it again? No, not those flakes. Although they are. Well, they were. They were talking up a storm earlier. They had little kids out back. I think they cleaned out their pool again. Oh yeah, it's like a holiday weekend. That's why. There's a bunch of noise next door. A bunch of happy noises and kids jumping around. Somebody was having a good old time. But they've gone silent. Into silent mode. It's late at night. At least they're not up late, which is good. It's good for us old people. Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much all I want to do for thinning it, because it'll risk it. And there's plenty of room in the big haft. Now it's just a matter of figuring out what I want to do with the notching. And then I'll sharpen it all the way around. There's dull spots all over the place, so it's not sharpened. It's just thinned as much as I want it to be thinned. And that's it. Alright, so let's see. I don't know. I don't know. I do want to try some thinning flakes from the base, because I'm dicey like that. Could snap the whole thing. Gotta add some drama. Some of you might ask, you gonna flute it? Well, maybe. Let's see if it did it. Ooh, that's a nice little thinning flake. Yeah. Haha. Okay, cool. Not gonna push my luck. I'm gonna try the other side though. Hee. Not gonna push my luck on that one side. I'm just gonna push my luck on the other side. Yeah. Let's see. Let's prepare it a little bit better. Can you see the careful preparation flaking? No? I didn't think you could. I did not think you could. And I didn't try to do anything to fix that problem. If I zoom in too much and think too much, it's not going to work. Did it do it? No, did not do it. Did it do it that time? I don't know. Kinda, sorta. Yeah, I mean, I got it. I got it thin. If it was going to be a little haft, I'm gonna try another flake. See if that one did it. Oh yes. So we have some thinning flakes from the base. It did handle it. We have handleage. Is it lopsided now? Oh, of course. Of course it is. It's controlled lopsidedness. What do I mean by lopsidedness? Well, now that if you stick it in a perfectly V-shaped haft, it's going to go doop to this side like that. If the haft is perfectly V-shaped and you stick it in there, it's going to go to the one side like that. So maybe I should do another fluting attempt. Yeah, let's do it. Some of you might say, so you are fluting it. You are. No, I'm thinning it. Not fluting. Nope. I will not admit to it. I will not admit to it. It's thinning. Because it's fat. It's too much work to make a big old fat haft. It's much less grinding to have a thin haft notch. It's a lot of work to grind that big old haft notch out of there, but it's less work if it's thinner. Yeah. So here we go. Yeah, I could feel it didn't do it because the platform wasn't strong enough. Dang it. Yeah, it's not strong enough. I won't be able to unlopsify it. I don't know, maybe. Did it do it? Okay, yeah, it thinned it down pretty good. So now I have some thinning flakes from the base. I could just leave it like that and just haft it with glue. Easy peasy, done with it. Yep, just put a lot of glue and wrapping down below. If I was back in the day, I would say, alright, done except for the sharpening. We're done. But we're not done, are we? Nope. It's only 33 minutes. Yeah. I never get done after only 33 minutes, even though I could. Even though I could have been done a long time ago. These are supposed to be long format videos now. I don't do no short ones no more. I do shorts, but not this kind of video. I don't do this video shortly. Short-wise. I don't do this type of video quick anymore. I draw it out and I do a lot of blabbing and talking, yapping. That's the new format. Yep. And I talk about irrelevant things. So you guys don't watch the napping anyway. A lot of you guys. Well, you might watch the napping for the challenges, if it's a challenging thing. If it's the same old, you don't watch it. That's what I'm thinking. Sometimes the analytics, they will indicate that, but I don't know how to read the analytics very well. I don't know what that means when engagement goes down. I don't know if it's because you guys are watching something else. You get a notification when you're watching my videos and you go, oh yeah, I was going to watch the other one. Hold on. Be right back. And then never come back. Too busy watching the next episode of Amazing Civilizations, or whatever it is. Ancient Civilizations. Do they have episodes for that one? Or is that even a show? A regular show? I don't know. I'm not that into the ancient civilizations. Unless they're discussing the hunting or weaponry or warfare. But when they discuss warfare, I don't know. Sometimes it's just drama. They don't discuss the tactics and all that stuff, the equipment, the challenges and stuff like that. And the technologies, they just go into the success or failures of various battles. Okay, fine. Alright, so if I wanted to put notches on here, if I was back in the day and wanted to look cool, what would I do? Well, put some cool notches in. It's easy. Easy peasy. Just put some cool notches. Make sure they're not uncool. Yeah. Make sure. Okay, I'll try to do some notches that are not uncool. Try to make sure. Go slow. Okay. It pops out all right. Take it easy. I gotta take it easy because this pops a lot like Obsidian. And what that means is it wipes out the barbs in the ears really easily. This is a barb, that's an ear. So if I pop it too hard, it's going to blow one of those away. It's pretty thick too, so I got to push pretty hard. But luckily it flakes easily. Luckily. Supposedly it flakes easily. It's starting to get crunchy in that notch. Yep. There. That was a good pop out. Highly dicey because look how it almost took off the ear. Highly dicey. You don't know highly dicey? Highly dicey is not a very nice person. Nope. Never know. Unpredictable. Highly dicey is very unpredictable. You don't want to hang around with her too much. Nope. Okay. Here we go. Oh, that just kind of smashed its way in, but it didn't feel like it smashed. All right, I'm not gonna push my luck with highly dicey. We're gonna go to the other side. I always get a little bit. My notches are always a little bit off. If I don't mark them with a marker or something. If I just eyeball them, I tend to be off a little bit. I think it makes it look more authentical. Yeah. I am such a dork. All right. Here we go. I'll take highly dicey on a little stroll on this side of town too. I'm using a lot of pressure. That's the thing. That's why it's risky. Okay, that's the kind of snap I like to hear. Yeah, because I know it when it snaps like that, it's a good pop out. If it doesn't take off any important areas. Yeah. Now I just gotta make them symmetrical. You just symmetritize it. Yes, no, maybe. It's kind of symmetrical. Crunch the bottom of the notch a little bit, even though I like them sharp at the bottom of the notch. I don't like any crushing at the bottom of the notch. And there's just a little bit on that one, but it's not bad. So that's it. Time for sharpening, and we're done. And yes, I use the notcher for sharpening because it's the spatula tool, and all I need to do is press downward. No fancy flaking. This is the old way of sharpening. I'm working on my new ways. But I'm not going to do them yet, especially not on this stuff. The new way of sharpening requires a lot of edge removal and a lot of grinding. And I don't want to do either one of those on this one right now. Just picking on the dull spots and the lumps so that there's no more lumps or dull spots that I can see. Sometimes there's some left over. Sometimes you guys can do a much better job at this. But this is just the way I'm going to do it. Oops. Took a little too much off of there. But I'm just going to leave it. It's too close to the end to worry about it. I'll just pretend it was a ding. I dinged it on a mammoth tooth. Yeah. Stupid mammoth wanted to take a bite out of my spear. I slapped it. Get away. Wait until I attack you later. I'm not hungry right now. Yeah. Ding. I dinged it on a tooth. I tell him it's a mammoth tooth instead of telling him I dinged it on my own tooth by tripping in the woods and boom, the spear hit me right in the face. Ooh, it dinged it with my tooth. Ah. Why do I think about these things? I've never tripped and had the spear hit me in the face. Never. Let me think about that. Has that ever happened? I know I have nicked myself with a spear tip on the face. I don't know if I've ever fallen with it. I don't think I have. I don't know if I'd be here if I had. Right? I suppose it happens a lot though. Running around with a spear and you fall and took. Come back to the camp and it's through the ear. And they go, that's not how you're supposed to pierce the ear. Yeah. Alright. I don't know what that is. That's a look at arc point. But I thinned the base down. I did some notches. I worked out some crusty area on there. It's actually a nice material as long as it doesn't have issues, right? I took away the crystal pockets even though they were cool. I lost them. Yeah, I brushed them away. I was going to keep those. Dang it. Yeah, I did brush them away just a little while ago. So that's it. That'll be available in the auction. So thanks, Frank. That was interesting material. I'm not going to go any thinner than that. What's the ratio? Let me see. Because once you know the ratio, you're going to do them all like this, right? Yeah. I think it's like 4:1. Let's see what it is. 35 millimeters by 8 millimeter. Maybe 7. The thickest one, so it'd be fair. Seven or 8, yeah, by 35. 5:1. All right, you can get 5:1 on that. It looks like it's thicker than 5:1, so maybe I'm doing something wrong. But anyway. Yeah, it looks consistent enough in the middle that I could have gone a little bit thinner there, but I like it. And like it doesn't have to be thin. And that's well within the ability to haft it strongly. I wouldn't haft it that deep. I'd go right about there. Right about there. See the wood, see the top of the notches right here? I like the wood to extend just slightly above that, so it's like a curve just above the notches. Just so it's like a little bit, like a 32nd of an inch above the notches. That's where I like the wood to be. And then when I wrap across this way, the sinew can go up over the wood. So none of the wood is exposed. You know what I mean? Of course, I glue it in first and then wrap it. And then wrap it down here. And do some crisscross also. All right. There it is.